Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Urban Gardener DC here. It is now the 28th of July, 2024. I'm back in the garage trying to stay out of the heat that has been quite intense the last probably almost 2 months here. Throughout the entire month of July has been smoking hot. But for those purposes, I'm going to get started with my germination for the fall crops. And just recently I posted a video where I was shopping online for different seeds, and I just got in my Haas Tools, my first order of Haas Tool seeds. Haas Tools is a big YouTube channel. They're down in southern Georgia. Great content, you should check them out. So what I ordered from them, which I'm gonna germinate now in late July here, is a fall planting of onions. So I ordered 4 different varieties. There's a candy onion. And what is this one? There's a red Creole. There is a traditional Walla Walla white or yellow onion. And then a red angel onion. So I've already prepped all of my seedling trays. Just did a video the other day on using your traditional garden soil, like this Smart Grow garden soil, and sifting it out using a colander. And I've been creating my own potting mix. It's been working great. I've already germinated collards, kale, and Brussels sprouts with it. It's done wonderful. So I'm gonna use this same mix that I got from the garden soil to go ahead and germinate these seeds. Now, all of these varieties show you could either germinate in early spring or fall, with the exception of the Red Angel. Red Angel actually says, if you see there, early spring. So I'm gonna still germinate it. I'm not afraid to try it and test it. I've already done a full tray of the candy, have that underneath the germination lights. So let's go with the red Creole. Now in these small trays here, I have 12 total of 12 cells. I just took a 72 cell tray and cut it into sections because I don't like using that big tray. I'm not a market farmer. I'm in a community garden and I garden for myself. So I don't need 72 cells of everything and then having to mark them out separately. I can do 12 in one little sub tray, then put them all in the same container for the underwatering. Now these seeds, like most onion seeds, are pretty small. So I like to pat down the little cells. Move that up. Just pat them down just a little bit to make it small indentation. So then they're not flush to the top there. Have a little area, a little valley almost for the seeds to fall into. And I like to put about 4 or 5 in each cell. That's 4, 5. And just do this all the way across. So we got 6 of them done. So what happens here with onions, once they germinate, I like to let them grow for about 6 to 8 weeks on average under the grow light, or under my shop light actually, here in the garden where it's a controlled climate. I can turn on air conditioning if needed. It's normally about 75 degrees on average in here, even in the hot sun, because there's no windows. And so my purpose of doing it now in late July is that I like to give it a solid 6 to 8 weeks to germinate in this controlled environment inside. And now because I put 4 or 5 on each cell, these packs actually have a very high germination rate Total 120 days, germination rate of 93% on this one that I just planted. The red Creole, this one. And it says from seed to harvest, 110 days. So let's think about it. It's now the end of July. So we have August, September, October. So we should get bulbing before freeze. Now, that's okay if we do get a frost late October, November. Onions are very hardy. They can actually overwinter. So they'll kind of go semi-dormant in the wintertime. And then by late spring, once it gets warmer, they're going to start to grow even more. So doing it in the fall for a spring crop or doing it in the spring for a summer crop, you could do it either way. It depends on your personal environment. So I'm just going to take the last bit of my seed mixture. I'm just going to sprinkle that on top of the tray. And now I've already pre-watered these cells. I actually set this cell tray in a basin of water, so it's already absorbed from the bottom. But then once I do this sprinkle, I can just go ahead and level it all out. And then I will just simply take my sprayer. I'm just going to gingerly moisten the very tops. Get it nice and moist above there. And then for purposes of labeling, I actually have one right here. What I will do, this is for a different variety that I germinated back in June. I just use masking tape, right? Write down the date and then what it is. Then I just simply stick it on the side of my seedlings, set it down into its drainage tray underneath those shop lights, where the shop lights will stay on top of them during the whole germination process. And I have these other 1, 2 more trays. I've already done the Walla Walla. So we just did the Creole. I'm sorry, I already did the candy. So we still need to do the Red Angel. And then where's the other one? And the Walla Wallas. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant these other trays, and I will come back and show you how I have it set up under the shop lights, and then we'll go through probably in a couple of weeks and do a follow-up on the germination success rate. So we have all 4 onions. 1, 2, 3, 4 onions. And this was actually a tray of Brussels sprouts that I had started earlier in the day and then got my delivery. So as you see here on the side, right inside there, if you could tilt it up, I have each tray individually marked so I know which variety of these Haas onions that I have planted or started to germinate. And then as you see down, where is it? Right here is the Brussels sprout tray, which is this one. And then Walla Walla down on the end. Very simple. You guys have seen in other videos my simple shop light setup here. Just set up on a table in my garage. It's like in the mid 70s on average in here, even during the winter. It can get down lower 70s, depending on how I have the heat set. But it's a great environment here using these shop lights. Very low wattage. I can't remember. You got to go back on the channel. I did a whole video on setting up my shop light system here. And then right adjacent to it, I have some black trash bag over top of this right now. But I actually germinated these. You see them sprouting? Just germinated these onions 2 days ago. And they're already popping up out of the soil. They're actually looking a little dry, so I'll go ahead and mist them a little bit before I close this up. This is just a generic bunching onion here. As you guys know from previous videos, big major problem in the community garden is the groundhog. So yes, I'm germinating some cole crops as far as cabbage, broccoli, arugula, some lettuce. I'm going to germinate it because hopefully by the time late September, early October comes around, it'll give me the opportunity to take my germinated stuff, put it into the garden, hopefully around the time that the groundhog goes into its hibernation type stage. But we just don't know. So I'm germinating these fall crops here that are not something that the groundhog would go after. Typically garlic, onion, there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, the groundhog has been eating the tomatoes, just I think for the moisture's sake, but it's not really attacking the tomatoes, but it's attacking the cole crops, the leafy, lettucey, greeny things, collards, kale, all that stuff is devoured. So for the fall crops, I'm going to get some other stuff. It's probably this week coming in off of that last order of seeds that I did from Burpee, from Territorial, and I've gotten part of my Hoss stuff here, which is the onions, but I'll have some other stuff that I'll be germinating soon using that same method of taking this true green soil and sifting it out. You know, I just did a video about that, but that's exactly what this mixture is. Perlite is already in there. I'm using no granular or water-soluble fertilizer just yet. On these right here that are going to sprout, I'm going to say probably in about 2 weeks, I'll hit them with a small dose of like a 20-20-20, and that'll be about 2 or 3 weeks before they're put in the ground. So once they really take off, they're, you know, just sprouting now, but once they really take off, I'll hit them with a little fertilizer just to give them that boost before they go outside into the climate. So guys, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you wish. I'm always trying to add new content, doing it my way, from my experiences, helping you in an urban garden environment. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, that'd be awesome. And I'll see you guys on the next one.